So the requirement is high. So you have to fulfill that high requirement within this reduced feed limit. So that is a problem in the feeding of high yielders. It is difficult to meet the nutrient requirement, particularly the energy requirement of such high yielders, more than 15 kg milk production per day in cows and 12 kg milk yield per day in buffaloes. So this is the limit of the or the categorization of the cattle and buffalo to keep or to call them as a high yielder. That if the cattle is producing more than 15 kg, they are categorized as high yielders, and the buffalo, if she is producing more than 12 kg of milk, they are considered as high yielders through normal concentrate mixture and water. So now it is difficult to fulfill their nutrient requirement, especially the energy requirement of a high yielders through a normal concentrate which we are preparing, that is 13% CP and 16% 65% TDN. If we are preparing 13 to 14% a concentrate of specification of 13 for 14% CP and 65% TDN, so it is very difficult to fulfill their nutrient requirement and that too energy requirement. Okay, so you have to go with some strategic planning or strategic feeding of the animal. Strategic feeding, it means that with defined strategy you are feeding the animals high yielders with some defined strategy, that is a strategic feeding, and you have to plan some strategy to fulfill their requirement of a high yielder, to formulate a different concentrate or to provide them fodder, different fodder. So you have to prepare some strategy. High energy diets are to be formulated and challenge feeding has to be adopted. So this may be one of the solutions that you we can formulate a high energy diet, and also we can follow the challenge feeding. So challenge feeding is also important. Challenge feeding, it means that you are challenging the animal for feeding. Challenging means it doesn't implies it doesn't implies that you are bodily challenge the animal. It means that you are gradually increase the feed, gradually increasing the amount of feed provided to the animal up to its maximum limit. You are challenging its feeding limit. So you are gradually increasing the amount of concentrate mixture in the diet of the animal and take it up to its challenging limit, maximum limit. Critical for maintenance of normal milk fat. Yes, fiber percentage, that is 36% NDF, that is neutral detergent fiber. Okay, so neutral detergent fiber should be at least 36% in the total ration, and it is critical to maintain the normal milk fat. Also, when you are going to feed a very high concentrate diet to maintain the normal peristaltic movement and to maintain the normal pH of the rumen, you have to fed along with the concentrate, you have to fed adequate amount of fiber, because fiber is the only nutrient which is responsible for the movement motility of the GI tract. So if you are not considering the fiber percentage, then it may lead to severe constipation or acidosis in the animal. So you have to consider the appropriate adequate fiber percentage in the diet of a high yielder. Usually, all such cows and buffalo will remain under negative energy balance during first 5 months of lactation. So, because they are mobilizing their body reserves, body nutrients to fulfill the adequate nutrients in the milk that that will lead to a severe negative energy balance in the body of the animal. What is negative energy balance? Negative energy balance means that there is a the energy balance in the body is under negative side. That is continuous energy is mobilizing, continuous fat is mobilizing from the body. Negative energy balance is it means that continuous fat is mobilizing from the body store, and very soon the animal will be in a uh, very dangerous condition. So that is a negative energy balance. So we have to immediately let the animal to come under positive energy balance. In the light of advances made in the field of protein metabolism, the protein requirement in ruminants are calculated based on rumen protein degradability. Mobilization of body reserves during early lactation can be prevented by feeding high-fat, high-protein oilseeds such as cottonseed, which supply both protein and long-chain fatty acids for post-ruminal digestion, bypass protein and bypass fat. So what we will do? So one more strategy is there for the feeding of the high yielders, that is bypass fat and bypass protein. Bypass fat and bypass protein is uh, basically um, what happened. The protein is degraded. Whatever amount of protein we are feeding to the animal, it it is not uh, that amount is not exactly available to the animal, because the rumen bacteria degraded the protein and they form their own microbial protein, and during the formation of that microbial protein, some amount of protein in the form of nitrogen is lost in form of ammonia. Okay, during that degradation process, some amount of nitrogen is lost in the form of ammonia. So that is basically a loss in a protein, loss of a nutrient. So that's why the in a light of human protein degradability, what we will do or what we have find that we will go for a bypass nutrient technology. What is this bypass nutrient technology? So in the bypass nutrient technology, bypass आप लोगों को मालूम होगा, जैसे आजकल सिटी के आजू बाजू से बाईपास बना देते हैं टू क्रॉस दैट सिटी फास्टली वेरी सून, है ना, so that we can overtake the traffic of the city. So what will happen? We go for with the bypass road. So similarly, bypass protein or bypass fat, what it will do, it will bypass the rumen, not with some other track, but we have treated these protein and fat with some chemicals or some compounds that it will not going to degrade in the rumen. They will bypass the rumen degradation. And when they bypass the rumen degradation, they will directly go in the they will bypass the rumen degradation, then the reticulum, onisum, and directly degraded in the acid digestion of the abomasum. So the amount of bypass protein or bypass fat which we are feeding is completely absorbed or taken by the animal. So this we also called as densified nutrient technology. We have densified the nutrients. Densification, it means a very small amount of nutrient which is completely available. If we are providing 20 gram of bypass protein, that whole 20 gram of bypass protein will be available to the animal. Okay, not even a 1 gram of protein will be degraded and lost in the form of ammonia. It will be 100% available to the animal. So we have densified, we have bypassed the nutrient with the treatment of some or the other chemicals. So this is also one of the technology which we can follow in case of a high yielder, that is bypass protein and bypass fat. Now there is one more technology that is, or I have just told you, that feeding of whole oil seeds. So feeding of soybean to high yielding cows and buffaloes. So feeding of whole soybean all is also one of the method for the high yielders, because it is a good source of protein. Also, it is a good source of oil. Also, so soybean has to fed as both whole oil seed and solvent extracted soybean meal during lactation. More so during the first 3 to 5 months to overcome the negative energy balance. So if we are feeding the whole oil seed, it is a good source of energy. And if we are feeding an solvent extracted soybean meal, so it will be a good source of protein. So uh, extracted solvent extracted soybean meal is basically uh, solvent extraction. It means that there are three methods of formation of an any meal or cake, which is a protein source, that is expeller one, uh, oh sorry, Ghani method, expeller method, and solvent extraction. So Ghani method is a very traditional method in which we are extracting the oil from the Ghani. Then the uh, expeller is a machine through which we are expelling the oils from the oil seeds. And third one is the solvent extraction, from which we are extracting the oil. So the difference in between the three method is the amount of oil which is extracted. In the Ghani method, more amount or less amount of oil is extracted, and the oil seed or the cake contains at least 3 to 5% of oil. So in the expeller method, 2 to 3% oil is retained in the meal. And in the solvent extraction, chemical extraction, only less than 1% of oil is retained in the meal. So this retention of oil, it lead to lower down the protein content of meal. If more amount of oil will be there, the protein content will be less. If less amount of oil will be there, more amount of protein will be there. So solvent extracted soybean meal, which is having a very high amount of protein, can be fed to the animals to overcome the negative energy balance or negative protein balance. A milch cow was fed 6 kg of concentrate maize, 40% soybean meal, 30% groundnut meal, 10% rice polish, 10% molasses, 7% mineral mixture, 3%, 1 kg soybean, 30 kg green fodder, and ad-lib wheat straw throughout the 10 months of lactation. So this is the normal composition or the feeding of the uh, average milk yielding cow, that you can provide 6 kg concentrate. That means there is a I think 8 to 9 kg production will be there, or 10 kg production will be there. So you can feed 6 kg concentrate, 1 kg soybean, 30 kg green fodder, and add wheat straw for to the cow. The cow yielded 4,836 kg milk during the lactation period. It was inferred that better milk yield persistency seemed to be as a result of supplementing extra energy and additional protein from 1 kg whole soybean. So if you need more amount of milk from the cow, you can fed over and above the concentrate, the fodder, you can fed at least 1 kg whole soybean. So whole soybean can be crushed and included in the concentrate for the high yielding animals. So this is an example of a Murrah buffalo. So 20 Murrah buffalo yielding 9.2 kg milk per day were used to assess the usefulness of a feeding full-fat soybean on milk production traits. So this is an example of a study which is conducted on a 20 Murrah buffaloes which are yielding 9.2 kg milk per day, and we have fed the full-fat soybean. Full fat means whole soybean which contains the full oil in it. The study was conducted for 11 weeks. Milk fat booster was prepared by mixing soybean 60%, soybean meal, so that is solvent extracted 30%, maize 10%, so its CP is 36%, and ether extract is 10% of this mixture. This is a milk fat booster which is prepared including whole soybean, soybean meal, and maize. Each animal was offered fat booster 2 kg, cotton seed cake 1 kg, maize 2 kg, and straw ad lib. So this is the amount of feed which is provided to these 20 Murrah buffaloes. That is 2 kg fat booster, cotton seed cake 1 kg, and maize 2 kg, and straw it is ad lib. The result showed an improvement in fat percentage from 6.69 to 7.48. So see how the milk fat is increased while there was not much differences in milk yield. Since most of the high yielders are expected to be in the negative energy balance during first trimester of lactation, and soybean feeding can be advantageous to boost milk or milk fat percentage. So each and every animal, I don't think that there is any animal which will not come under negative energy balance just after 2 to 3 weeks of parturition, if that is not properly nutritionally managed. So every animal comes under the negative energy balance, but it is our management that as early as if possible we can let the animal overcome that negative energy balance, so to maintain the proper yield and proper milk fat percentage. So to let the animals overcome that negative energy balance, what we can do, we can provide that milk fat booster. So it will maintain the body reserves of the fat, and it will also increase the milk fat percentage. Why milk fat percentage will decrease? It decreases because of the utilization of the more amount of body fat. Okay. So there is some examples of concentrate mixture. This is ration 1, groundnut cake 35, wheat bran 20, maize 15, sorghum 15, gram chini 12, mineral mixture 2, and common salt 1. So this is our one composition which we can formulate. So this is how we can formulate a different concentrates or different ration for the animal. And how we can formulate this concentrate? We can formulate by using their requirement, by using their level of production, by using their uh, body weight, and the quantity and the feed which are available to us. Okay, so merely feeding is not which I am talking that you have to feed this amount of concentrate, there you have to feed that amount of fodder. Feeding is that which you will prepare by yourself. Okay, by the availability of the ingredients, and by knowing the nutrient requirement of the animal, what all ingredients you have, what all nutrient requirement the animal is having. So fulfilling that nutrient requirement by those available feed stuff is basically a feeding, because you can't predict the feeding of the animal by simply reading the books. You have to make your own feeding. If you are having an animal, a buffalo yielding 7 liters of milk, having 6% fat, milk fat, and having body weight of 500 kg, you can calculate its nutrient requirement. Then see on the other aspect that what all ingredients you are having. You are having straw, you are having maize, green maize. In the concentrates, you are having yellow maize, you are having mustard oil cake, you are having cotton seed cake, you are having wheat bran, gram chuni, mineral mixture, salt. So first, what you do, you calculate the nutrient requirement as along with the dry matter requirement. How you will calculate the dry matter requirement? The dry matter requirement will be calculated by in percent of their body weight. Okay, the diameter requirement will be calculated. In a ICR 2013 nutrient requirement, the diameter requirement is also given. Previously, it was not given in any of the nutrient requirements, but in ICR 2013, the diameter requirement is also given. But if you want to calculate the diameter requirement of the animal, you can calculate it by the percent of their body weight. 2% of body weight for cow and 3% of body weight for buffaloes. If it is a crossbred cow, you can go with 2.5% of its body weight. So this is the formula to calculate the diameter requirement. If it is a 500 kg buffalo, then what will be the diameter requirement? It is 15 kg. So maximum 15 kg dry matter will be fed by that animal. It is not the as such quantity of the feed. It is the dry matter. Okay. It is the dry matter which the animal can feed. Now, from that 15 kg dry matter, what, how you will partition the different feed? It is one third by the concentrate, two-third by the fodder. From that two-third part, one third is 5 kg, 10 kg roughage. Okay, 10 kg diameter from roughage and 5 kg from the concentrate. So that 5 kg dry matter that means it is exact quantity is 5.5 kg concentrate. Okay, the as such quantity is 5.5 kg concentrate. Now 10 kg diameter is from the roughage. So in that 10 kg, two-third is from the dry roughage, one-third from the green roughage. Okay, so approximately 3.3 kg, 3.3 kg diameter from the green roughage and 6.7 kg around from the dry roughage. So this is the partitioning of the dry matter. Now you can convert it into the as such quantity. Okay, so that's the method of calculating the dry matter. So now I told you that how you will calculate the feeding. So you know the amount of feed and fodder you can provide to the provide to the animal, and from that feed the composition of wheat straw is the standard composition of a green fodder. It is a standard. Only the variable is the concentrate. So you can calculate that from how much nutrient will be provided to the animal from 3.3 kg of green fodder, how much nutrient will be provided from 6.7 kg wheat straw, subtract that nutrient from the total nutrient requirement, the leftover nutrient you have to provide from the concentrate. Okay, the nutrients are CP and TDN. Now, if suppose that 200 gram protein is left, so you have to provide that 200 gram of protein from this 5.5 kg of concentrate mixture. So you can calculate the amount or the percent of प्रोटीन इन द कंसंट्रेट, है ना. आपको ये मालूम है कि 200 ग्राम आपको प्रोटीन 5.5 केजी कंसंट्रेट से देनी है. आपका टीडीएन जो है वो आपको 1.5 kg TDN है वो आपको 5.5 kg से देना है. So you can calculate the CP percentage and TDN percentage of a concentrate mixture. And to calculate or to formulate that concentrate mixture, you will go for the Pearson square method. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the feeding of the animal. So there are basically, if you read the DV ready, in that there is given three method to formulate a concentrate mixture. First is the hit and trial method, second is the Pearson method, and third one is the equational method. Okay, so you can read that methods because I can't taught you that methods on the online classes. So you can read that method, and if there is any of the problem arises in understanding those methods, you can ask it from me. So at least formulate a feeding, compute a feeding of one or two animals: cattle, dry phase, cattle with 6 liter of milk, cattle with 15 liters of milk, buffalo in a dry phase, buffalo in a with 8 liters of milk, buffalo with 12 liters of milk. So formulate a feeding of these six animal. You can understand where the problem is arising. So this is ration one. Ration two, it is mustard cake, wheat bran, gram chunies, mineral mixture, common salt. So this is the example of ration two. Ration three, that is tapioca chips. It is an unconventional energy source. Groundnut cake, gram chuni, rice bran, mineral mixture, common salt. Ration four. So we have introduced the different ingredients in these different rations. So now, high yielding dairy cattle nutrition. So cow yielding more than 20 kg per day and buffalo yielding more than 15 kg per day are considered as high yielding animals. Nutrient requirement vary with the stage of lactation and gestation. Five distinct feeding phases can be defined to attain optimum production, reproduction, and health of dairy cows. So now we can go for the phase feeding. In it is a very newer concept in a feeding of high yielder. It is phase feeding, that we can different divided the different phases of lactation, and according to those phases we are feeding the animals. So the phase one is the early lactation from 1 to 70 days, peak milk production after calving, postpartum. So when the peak milk production arises, it is around 42nd day of the it is 42nd day postpartum. So peak milk yield, it arises, that is the maximum milk production of the animal during the whole lactation, it comes at 42nd day of postpartum. So in early lactation, peak milk production is there. In phase 2, peak dry matter intake, that is 70 to 140 days, declining milk production. So as the uh, milk production, it is reduced, the dry matter intake is increased. In phase 3, mid and late lactation, that is 140 to 305 days, declining milk production, it is postpartum. So there is mid and late lactation, in which the milk production, it is declining at a more uh, steep way. Phase 4 dry period, it is 60 to 14 days before the next lactation. So now in the fourth phase, the dry period is arises, and the phase fifth, it is transition or close-up period, that is 14 days before to parturition. So now it is a transition phase. Transition phase, it means that the animal is transitioning from, or the transferring from dry phase to the milking phase again. So that is the transition period, dry period, mid and late lactation, peak dry matter intake, early lactation. So we have classified the whole lactation to 5 different phases according to the stage of production and physiology of the animal. So early lactation, where the peak milk yield comes, then the peak dry matter intake, because the milk production it starts declining, and as the milk production start declining, the dry matter intake will be increased. जैसा मैंने आपको बताया था कि जैसे जैसे मिल्क प्रोडक्शन बढ़ता है, ड्राई मैटर इनटेक कम होता जाता है. अप टू 8 वीक्स ड्राई मैटर इनटेक करीबन 2 to 3 kg इट इज रिड्यूस्ड. बट जैसे जैसे मिल्क प्रोडक्शन कम होगा, वैसे वैसे ड्राई मैटर इनटेक फिर से बढ़ेगा. In the phase 3, it is late lactation. Dry matter intake again increases, milk production it is reduced. In phase 4, it is dry period, and phase 5, it is transition period. So these are the 5 phases in the life of animal, and we in the for high yielders we have to fed the animal according to these 5 phases, and this is known as phase feeding. Okay, so we will carry this topic tomorrow. Okay.